Good morning, everyone. It's Sal Stratford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. We're here live. I hope everyone is doing fine. I hope everyone has had a fantastic day so far and enjoying the elements, keeping out of trouble, whatever you want to say. It's Tuesday morning. Goodness me. It's not even the middle of the week yet, but we're going to build up the vibes. We're going to get there with all the positivity coming out your way, of course. Well, I hope so. We got some news about a new rule stipulation that could affect Manchester United in the future going into Europe. Of course, we got news about the stadium. Of course, the new images of the stadium have been released. What do you think about these new images? Of course, a new 100,000 seater stadium up the road. What do you think about that, guys? At the end of the day, and you know what? Gary Neville's been speaking again about the Premier League. He's been slamming the Premier League about the new rules that are about to take place in regards to that. Hope everyone's doing well. Please, before we start, please could you subscribe to the channel if you're new and smash a like on the video. That'd be absolutely fantastic and brilliant to start the day. Do something nice and positive. Give it a like. Smash the subscribe button. You guys are legends. I hope you're all doing well. Well, now I'm going to get straight into it. There's been a new rule stipulation for Manchester United in regards to the Premier League in general that could affect Premier League teams' involvement in Europe. I'm going to bring up the article right here just to get the news up and running. Is it any better, guys? Can you hear me now, mate? Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Is it good? Is it good? Let me just switch off something. 1 second. Yeah, that's better, guys. Hopefully I can hear me. All good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. The internet's a bit of a myth today. Of course, the Middle Eastern myth, bloody internet, as usual. Again, for goodness sake. Good to see you guys here with me. Good to have you guys here, man. It's buffering now. Big up. Yeah, hopefully it's better now, guys. Yeah, big up Rasta Stocks for joining me anyway. Can't hear you. Yeah, I hope you can hear me now. Probably not a bad thing. Can't hear yourself. Big up. Yes, all good. Yes, can now better. Big up. This is the Middle East for you with the internet, all the skyscrapers and everything. But the internet is a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing here, and it's expensive as well. You don't have no idea how expensive this internet is over here. But great to have you guys on board. Great to have you here, guys. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to get straight into it in regards to this article. I want to know your opinions on it. Of course, nothing is set in stone. In regards to this article, it might be a bit boring. Yes, it's a bit boring, but you know what? We got this thing, haven't we? That we have to report the news, of course, and see what your feelings are in regards to it, guys. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to go down here to this. Not this one, is it? This one. There we go. Let's go to this one. Not a great start. Okay, here we go. Manchester United icon Gary Neville has what have I said? Has labelled the Premier League as a certain team of behaving like bullies. Basically, behaving like bullies in the light of the potential establishment of an independent football regulator. The football governing bill. Goodness me, this one. I'm gonna have to. My eyesight has gone so bad recently. Goodness me, here we go. The bill, which accompanies the creation of the independent regulator, was forwarded by the Conservatives in March. The Labour are advancing it. The call for an independent regulator in English football gained traction following the Super League fiasco. The government have stated that it will protect football clubs by ensuring their financial sustainability, and the bill, assuming it is approved by the Parliament, and will be a regulator emergency powers to stop it when necessary. Gary Neville has been vocal on the advocate for an independent regulator, and it's believed its implementation would safeguard the interest of English football fans at all levels. Wow, it is. You know what? The government, as usual, do you know what I mean? It is one of those things in regards to the government bringing in their own stipulation. Of course, this is illegal when it comes to UEFA, of course, guys. Absolutely. It is illegal when it comes to UEFA, guys. But the organization CEO, Richard Masters, has cautioned that and its formation would be pose a risk. Of course it would pose a risk. Of course it would. Whatever you think about that, guys, you know what? At the end of the day, they've always got something to say. This damn government, of course. So they always got something to say in regards to football, of course, guys. So yeah, they're not very good. Not very good, of course. Not very good. Let's read on. Let's go on here. Neville has launched. Yeah, this is the one I've just read. Of course, guys. Of course. Let me just get the other one on. Gary Neville did say, carrying on. Sorry, it's not what you do when you're in a family. Their mindset is such of a bully. Their mindset is that they think they can influence the regulator once a regulator is introduced, and they can get a better deal, potentially the side of a regulator. And what they're applying is that soft power and their influence to try and create a scare stories and scaremonger. So a couple of weeks ago. So basically, the government want to get a bigger hold in the Premier League clubs. They want a bigger say in the Premier League clubs. Basically, scaremongering, as he said. You know, this is typical at the end of the day. We're not talking about the diabolical referees in the Premier League, of course. We're talking about this. You know, there's lots of problems in the Premier League. And you know what? We're thinking about problems that really don't exist, guys, at the end of the day. And we're bringing in problems that we shouldn't be bringing in at the end of the day, and potentially banning English clubs from Europe, of course. Sad, isn't it? At the end of the day, hopefully the government don't get hold of this and they don't have a power within the Premier League, because if they did have a power within the Premier League, they can say what they want, they could do what they want. Of course, the Premier League has always been famously run by the FA, run by the UEFA, run by FIFA. It's never been taken to the Crown Court. It's never been a governing thing. It's always been down to FIFA, UEFA, and the FA. So if the government got involved in football, so to speak, then it would be a bit of an issue, wouldn't it? Because then they would call the shots when they want to call the shots. You know what I mean? And we don't trust the government. Of course, I don't trust the government. I don't think many of you trust the government, of course, guys. Absolutely. Morning, Bath Time. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you. How you feeling? I find it hard stomach leaving Old Trafford despite highly signing new stadium. Will be. What do you think? Absolutely agree. Bath Time is a heritage at the end of the day with our stadium. Yes, some people like a shiny new toy. I don't personally. Sometimes I feel like we're just changing for the sake of changing. But this time, I'm going to have to say, in regards to the Glazers, this is down to the Glazers, the way they've run our football club for the last few years. They've run us through the mud. They've completely destroyed Old Trafford in regards to its infrastructure, in regards to it decaying. We haven't updated Old Trafford since we built this quadrants on both corners of the ground, of course. And since then, we haven't updated Old Trafford at all, haven't increased it at all. We put a lick of paint on it here and there. But obviously, since those years, it's been decaying, and we haven't given it proper looking after. And that is obviously down to the Glazers, of course. Trying to disrupt an independent regulator, set up a government to try and less power and influence. Yeah, basically a government to have less power. So basically, look, he's trying to say that the Premier League is an organization trying to disrupt the independent regulator. Yeah, because the Premier League is independent. The Premier League is independent, and they want to set up a regulator to have more influence and power. So obviously, that's going to take away the power from UEFA, right? And that means the government is getting involved as well. And that means that it could harm clubs in Europe. It could harm English clubs in Europe. It could harm, our future aspirations going into Europe. Because there are rules in regards to football, and there are laws in regards to football, and if this is done, whether it's the FA, whether it is the government do get involved, we are in problems, in regards to Europe. And this has happened before. Government getting involved in football is ridiculous. So that's why I trust policy. Absolutely. And this is the problem. They want to make it more less independent. Obviously, football in this country, in England, has always been independent. And so is UEFA. It's basically an independent party, isn't it? Nothing really goes to the Crown Court in regards to any problems within the football ground, for example. Nothing really goes unless it's a criminal activity. It goes to the Crown Court. But now FA want to take away the independence, and they want to obviously bring it in to get the government involved as well in regards to it. Read up on it, Bathtime. Read up on it. It is quite interesting and intriguing. So sometimes you have to move with the times to the new stadiums for me. Absolutely. I do agree with that. Taylor put in here, and I think it's a good thing. The ID cards, 80s was a low point of government intervention. The 80s was horrible in regards to football. I went to a game in the 80s. There was a lot of riots, a lot of fights. Really disgusting. We've moved on greatly because of that. Thanks to Liverpool, we were banned, of course, for Europe for 8 years, wasn't it? 5 to 8 years. All English teams were banned from Europe as well. So that was a big issue as well back then, So we don't want to go back in time. The one thing with England now, we've become very Brexit, of course, and we've become very English in regards to that. And I feel like we're trying to privatize everything in regards to just English, just UK, just British, no UEFA involvement, no European involvement, etc. Because obviously the Premier League brings in so much money to the country, to the United Kingdom. They want to have more of a say in it. They want to have more of a power in regards to that, of course. Football rules only apply to 19 clubs in the Premier League. One absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely. Apart from Manchester City, Carsey. Big up Carsey, by the way. Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, I'm going to go into the stadium thing. I know that this whole government thing, this whole independence, erasing of the independence of the Premier League, etc. It is obviously rumor what could happen, of course. And you know what? I don't like suit and tie people involved in football. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't like corporate people involved in football. You know what? I believe in the fans. I believe in the independence of football clubs. I always believed that Man United would have been better run with the fans, with the independence that we used to have all those years ago. Of course, great football clubs like Bayern Munich are run by the fans, of course. And, I would have preferred that. I don't want any more guys in suits and ties coming into the football clubs, coming into the Premier League. And you know what? Causing havoc. Because eventually that's what they're going to do. They're going to ruin it for everyone at the end of the day, guys. But you know what? We'll have to wait and see in regards to that. Let's see what happens in regards to that. In regards to the stadium, guys, if I just bring this in real quickly for you guys. There's been a lot of talk about Old Trafford, of course. Statement and an iconic report commissioned to explore the benefits of a world-class 100,000-seater stadium as part of a regenerated Old Trafford Park has found the project could deliver an additional 7.3 billion per year to the UK economy. Again, it's all about the UK economy. Now, I'm all for the UK economy as long as it improves the job aspirations for people, looking for jobs. If it improves the people, the poor for the poor, it doesn't help the corporate people at the top. As long as it helps the people at the bottom, I'm all for it. At the end of the day, I'm all for it because I don't want to see money going to the government. Of course, I don't want to see the money going to those corporate tire corporations. Of course, as I said, do you know what I mean? And brokers and people like that. I want to see the money rejuvenated, put back in to the area of Manchester, of course. And I want jobs to be created. And most of all, I want the area of Old Trafford to be a representation of our heritage. I don't want it changing. I don't want any buildings, apartment blocks, anything like that. I feel like we should build something that represents who we are. With something for the fans, if you know what I mean, something for the fans. This is the stadium, what it would look like, basically literally down the road from Old Trafford. It's literally meters away from the cricket ground. If we look closely, you'll see the cricket ground, of course, and basically Old Trafford cricket ground. The task force is seeking government backing to remove the freight terminal behind United Stadium in order to go ahead with the plans. So, yeah. Obviously, there's a freight terminal. There's a railway track that Man United have to worry about, of course, which was a problem in regards to the South Stand as well. There was a big issue in regards to that. And also, we have houses there as well that we have to think about, and the community, which we have to think about. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be a very, very big project, but something to be excited about. But one thing I would say, right, in regards to my feelings in regards to Old Trafford is that, I don't like talking about it too much because it gives me an ill feeling because I'm all for Old Trafford. I'm all for heritage. I'm all for that at the end of the day. I'm not like one of those people, oh, yeah, let's move. Shiny new toy. Let's move. We have to move on with the times. I'm not like that, guys. The first time I went to Old Trafford was 40 years ago almost. and it holds a special place in my heart. Old Trafford got bombed in a war. We had the Busby Babes there. We've been at Old Trafford since the beginning of time, basically, since we were Newton Heath, so to speak. We started off at Old Trafford Cricket Ground, of course. Then we moved on to Old Trafford Football Ground. And you know what? We've been there ever since. And moving away from Old Trafford is sad. And it's not something to be celebrated, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But, you know, I just feel a little bit ill-feeling about that. But as we said, yeah, in factually, we do have to move with the times. Factually, we do, and we have to think about it. Absolutely. To make the ambitions to reality, a rail terminal situated, which I was talking about the rail, I spoke about yesterday, the railway behind the South Stand, it needs to be removed to free up land up. And this is the biggest problem that Man United have had over the years in regards to increasing the South Stand as well. It's been a big issue. Sir Alex Ferguson had the issue as well. Mayor of Manchester, Adrian Burnham, insisted that United are not seeking public money to fund the regeneration of the stadium. Burnham told us fans can expect one, if not the best stadiums in the world. What do you make of that? What do you make of that, guys? Do you trust it? Do you trust the process? As long as it is the best stadium in the world, of course, there is the full map. Of course, we've got the cricket ground on the south of Old Trafford. If you see down there, there's Old Trafford Cricket Ground, and around the area, you see the development of the area in general. As long as this can keep jobs, as long as this can produce jobs for Manchester United, this will be absolutely fantastic. Of course, we're basically in the same place. We're not too far away. But knocking the ground down and building a new one, what can we do? At the end of the day, the Glazers have left the club to rot, so to speak. So we have to move on with the times, of course. But it doesn't mean that we don't have an ill feeling in regards to that. It doesn't mean that we don't feel sick and bitter in the stomach in regards to that, guys. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think. I know it's all complicated. You know, it's multi-layered at the end of the day, guys. It is multi-layered at the end of the day if we think about it. Big up, everyone. Yeah, big up. Morning, Sal. Find out how to stomach. Big up, everyone. Big up. Let's see if I got this one. Taylor Paul says it's a good thing I did 80s. Yeah, I think I read that one. Big up, everyone. Big up, Kazi. Football rules only apply to the night in clubs. Yeah, big up, Alex. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is fine with you, my friend. The Glazers own shopping malls in America that have been shut down due to safety reason. The Glazers let the place turn into rubble. It's what they do. Do you know what? Yeah, exactly. And exactly what they've done with Old Trafford. They've let it decay. They've let it rubble, of course. And the only person who was keeping it up when the Glazers were there was Sir Alex Ferguson. He cared about the stadium. He cared about the football club as well. Obviously, the Glazers don't care about the football club, guys. Going to be a softy stadium for pre-season has made it almost inevitable we will get a new one. It's about the UK economy because they are trying to get public money. It's love letter to the government. You know what? I won't be surprised. I don't think Ineos can afford a new stadium, to be honest. They're going to have to get public funding or some individual billionaire who's going to invest in the stadium. This is a bit worrying for me because, of course, that means that we're going to end up changing the name of the stadium, which is not great. Of course, we don't want to change the name of the stadium. I want it to represent Manchester United at the end of the day. But it does look like it's going to be an Ineos stadium or something along those lines. Do you know what I mean? Which I don't agree with. You know, I feel like it should. We are more than just a football club. We are bigger than the Premier League. We are Manchester United. We have a history. You know what I mean? A heritage. You know, especially in regards to Old Trafford. It's crazy in regards to when you think about the history of Old Trafford, what Old Trafford has been through, what the football ground has been through, what Manchester United have been through at Old Trafford, of course, as well, guys. Remember, we had to play at Main Road, the old Manchester City Stadium for during the war, of course, because our stadium was bombed. It's our home and it just connects us to the future, present and past. I feel we lose so much if we just move that fabric to the past that is lost. Bath time, do you think that Arsenal have suffered since they moved away from Highbury? Do you think they suffered since they moved away from there? Because I do. I don't think they've ever been the same team since they moved away from Highbury. I don't think they've ever been as intimidating. I don't think it's been as difficult to play at Emirates, in my opinion. Only recently they've started to play decent or a little bit of good football, of course. If it's not about money, which I doubt, it's about the compulsory purchase orders for the train depot, for the house and the railway terrace. Could be. And there was rumours that Ineos have some piping under Old Trafford. There was a rumour about that. I don't know how true that is, but there is a big problem with the railway. And owning the railway, as a Bath time point on there, is a very good point. Because at the end of the day, that would mean that they would own it. Basically, buying it out, buying the railway, buying the tube station. Do you know what? Extra revenue for Ineos, extra money for Ineos, of course. I don't mind, at the end of the day, I don't mind what Ineos do if they make profits, fair play to them. But I just feel like Old Trafford is an iconic heritage. It's a cultural institution that it should be like a listed building, in my opinion. It should really be a listed building. And if it's not down, it's going to be a big shame. And yeah, we're going to have to move on. Manchester United have to move on. We have to move on. Unfortunately, we don't have a say, really. We don't have a very big say in regards to the stadium. But one thing I would say, we won't be happy in regards to it. And we hope that the new Old Trafford will become a fortress and will become as successful as Old Trafford, of course, guys. It was all about dividends. The dividends that is the Glazers are dividends at the end of the day. Dividends. At the end of the day, that is what Glazers do. They are all about the money. They're all about the skrilla. That's all they do. They care about the money, not the football club. They don't give a damn about the football club. The only time they're seen present at Manchester United is at the FA Cup final or the League Cup final, any type of final they are at. Other than that, they don't really care about the football club. I don't really think they care. They were given the football club from their father, was passed down to him. He didn't care about the football club. So why did the sons care about the football club? Joel Glazer apparently cares about the football club. Apparently he loves the football club. That's why he kept getting involved in regards to the takeover situation with Qatar, etc. He wanted to keep hold of the football club, and he is a big reason why it was only 27% that we sold, of course. Ineos have made 10 billion a year. They can't afford it. Yeah, apparently, yeah, they are assets of billions. Yeah, assets of billions. At the end of the day, look, Ineos don't own the full football club, Bath Time. They don't. They own 27%. It doesn't make sense for them to invest so much on the football club if they only own 27%. My one thing would say, if they did end up taking charge of the football club, then they would start putting major money into the football club. But obviously, 10 billion, of course, is 10 billion. That's on paper. This is in regards to assets, etc. Do you know what I mean? This isn't like plain money on the table. You could just get a suitcase of money and just splash it out. It's not like that. It's far more multi-layered than that, my friend. At the end of the day, are they rich enough to do it? Yes, they are. But I have a feeling that Ineos do eventually want to purchase the full Manchester United Football Club. Which is why they've been a little bit cautious, of course, because down the line they do want to purchase it. Will the Glazers sell, though? This is the biggest issue. I don't know if Arsenal has suffered, but I know that Numa Grandad, and only connection I've had to him is when he went to Old Trafford as well. And I hate the idea we lose this stuff. Bath Time, have you ever been to Old Trafford? Old Trafford is amazing. Even though it is old, of course, it is amazing. It's always brilliant. It's always like the first time you've been there. When you go there, it's always like the first time. You know what I mean? And you know what? It's such a beautiful place. You go there, you see Old Trafford, like, wow, you look up, you see the North Stand. You know what I mean? It's an amazing place. And if we do move away from Old Trafford, unfortunately, we might have to. Hopefully, it captures some of that spirit. It captures some of what we are, which is the heritage of Manchester United. And that is what is most important for me. Big up Bath Time. Story. Impossible to get a new stadium without a sponsor name. It will be called Old Trafford anyway. Absolutely. We will all know it as Old Trafford, guys. Story. Big up yourself. Thank you for joining me. We will all know it as Old Trafford, no matter what. The new camp will always be the new camp, not the Spotify new camp. Bernabeu will always be the Bernabeu at the end of the day. It will never change for us. Sanjay, investment for shares. Absolutely. Business, that's what it is. Yeah, season ticket in the South Stand for 3 years. Well, my family, we had 4, but around 2001, I had to give them up. Bath Time, you had a brilliant seat. I love the South Stand, by the way. I was in the Stretford end for a few years, front row behind the goal. I used to move to the South Stand when it was Champions League night because the first couple of rows on the Stretford end was closed off. They couldn't do it at European night for some reason, health and safety and all that. So I used to sit on the South Stand sometimes. The South Stand's the best stand for me. Absolutely. I used to love it, especially if like the front, you got near the tunnel, you got the bench, of course. It's a great place to sit. We should probably call it Sir Matt Bobby Stand now. Sir Bobby Charlton Stand. So Bobby Charlton Stand has already been done, my friend, isn't it? Yeah, the South Stand. Yeah, so it is Sir Bobby Stand. You're right, Bath Time. Yeah, we should call it the Sir Bobby Charlton Stand now. It gets time to get used to, of course. But Sir Matt Bobby Stand, absolutely spot on. For Bayern, it worked out and they moved far away. Bayern Munich, in regards to their new stadium, they had an Olympic stadium which had a racing track around it because obviously it hosted the Olympics. It was far from an intimidating stadium. Man United played there a number of times in 1998, 99. We played there, of course. And obviously, a year later, we played there. A couple of years later, we played there again. So, you know what? The Olympic Stadium in Munich was not a football stadium, in my opinion. It was, obviously, there's history there. Holland won the European Championships at the Olympic Stadium, of course. So it has a lot of history. But for me, it was not intimidating enough. So Bayern Munich had to build something that represents Bayern Munich. and they built something that represents Bayern Munich. And in all honesty, they haven't been that bad at this stadium. The Alliance Arena is a fantastic stadium, of course. I've been there, and I've been to both the Olympic Stadium and the Alliance Stadium, and I think they're both fantastic stadiums. But the Olympic Stadion, of course, was very old-fashioned stadium. Of course, a very old-fashioned brickwork, and a racing track around it. You're miles away from the ground, a bit like what West Ham used to be, of course. I like the South Stand, has older people in it. Yeah, it's got more of the old school fans, isn't it? It's got more of the old school fans. The one place I haven't sat bath time, I've sat all around Old Trafford, even in the top of the quadrants and the top of the North Stand. You need your binoculars for that. But the one place I haven't sat is behind the bench. I've always wanted to sit behind the bench. I think it's South Stand 126 or something like that. 126, 120 to 126, and you sit behind the bench, of course, it would be amazing. It had a slightly different atmosphere to it, Brian. Yeah. Basically, you know what? In my regards to Old Trafford will always be Old Trafford. We will always call it Old Trafford. And let's make a promise that we will always keep it Old Trafford. No matter what they call it, we will call it Old Trafford. We won't call it anything else. We won't call it the Ineos Stadium. We won't call it the Dr. Martin Stadium or whatever they want to call it, the Jim Ratcliffe Stadium, the Brailsford Stadium. Do you know what I mean? As long as we keep some of the heritage, of course. Story. There must be some secret deals between Sir Jim and the Glazers. Sir Jim to take over in the future. Sir Jim would never build a new stadium without getting the control, I feel. Story. You know what? It's a very good point, my friend. Do you know what? Of course, I do believe there are stipulations in regards to the deal between the Glazers and Ineos. I do believe that. We'd be naive not to think there is. Of course, Ineos are not going to take charge of Manchester United for $1 billion and build a stadium and invest in the team if they're not going to have a guarantee of buying more shares, more of the Glazers, of course. The Glazers own the majority of the football club, of course, and you know what? Hopefully they will sell. I mean, I've always said it. I've always been open about it. I don't care if Apple, Amazon take charge of the football club. I don't care who it is. As long as they buy fully, the full club. Even if Qatar, I don't care. I was an advocate for Qatar because Qatar were the only people who were bidding a full purchase of the club. But I don't mind who it is as long as the Glazers are out. And I want Ineos to buy the full club. I do. Because at the end of the day, they show me in this small amount of time so far that they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. They put more money into the infrastructure of Manchester United than the Glazers have in the last 25 years. 20 years. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't mind Ineos taking charge of the club fully. And I hope that the Glazers do end up selling the club because it's not their club. They don't love the club like we love the club. And you know what? It's bitter feeling between us and the Blazers. We need a new start. They need to leave. We need a new slate in regards to them. Because personally, I just think they're a curse on the football club, if I'm being honest with you. Big up, Story. It'll be something like Old Trafford presented by Unlever. You know what? It would be a cauldron, a bit like the Alliance Arena. Looking at the pictures there, it would be like a cauldron. It would be like one of those modern stadiums, of course. You know what? I want the stadium to be representation of us, and I want it to be intimidating, most of all, intimidating for the opposition teams, because Old Trafford is going to fit 100,000 people. Now, hopefully that 100,000 people, hopefully some of the seats won't go to those corporate lot. Again, I'm talking a lot about those corporate lot, but I mean it a lot. Because when I go to FA Cup finals, League Cup finals, I'm seeing a lot of suit and tie people who don't even support the football club at these football matches. I don't want these season ticket holders going to them. Now, I worked for a corporate organization for 8 years, right? It was an insurance company. And many of these insurance company personnel had season tickets, whether it was for Arsenal, whether it was for Chelsea, no matter what. And their intent was just selling the tickets for every game. And they didn't go to matches. Now, my only drill is we get the season tickets to the people that deserve it. I'm going to get a season ticket back. Hopefully, the best Man United fans get the season tickets there. Of course, guys. I hope so. I just don't want a round ashtray design. Yeah, exactly. But you know what? This is the type of design that they're doing nowadays. The designer, the architect of the new Old Trafford will be the guy who designed, should I say, the stadium in Qatar for the World Cup. Of course, it is a cauldron. It is an ashtray. Do you know what I mean? It is like a bouncy castle look, and we don't want that. We want it to be unique. We want it to be a representation of who we are. We want it to be the best stadium of the world. What do you feel about bath time? What do you think about Real Madrid Stadium? Do you rate Real Madrid Stadium? Do you think it's worth the money? Do you think it looks good? I'm not too sure. It would be unique, focus on fan experience and not full of corporate boxes, restaurants to shopping. You speak my language, bath time, big up yourself, absolutely spot on. Corporate boxes, prawn sandwiches and stuff like that. It needs to be something that represents Manchester United and Manchester United, who we are, of course, guys. That's what it needs to represent. So 100%, big up, Brian, big up yourself. Story, that's the most probably the ideal situation. Manchester United were built on the working man, the working woman. They were a working man's club, the oil mines, etc. Manchester United's rivalry famously came in the cotton industry. We had the cotton industry in Manchester, and then we ended up having a rivalry with Liverpool because they had the shipping industry, of course. It is working man towns. Both Liverpool and Manchester are both working man towns. People will work their butts off for the football club, and the only joy that they have was going to see Manchester United on a Saturday and a Sunday on a Wednesday afternoon. That is the joy that these people have. Nothing's really changed in regards to that. Nothing's changed in regards to the people of Manchester, the working class of Manchester. The people of Manchester, the working class, are the ones you see at Old Trafford every Saturday. Now, we don't want to erase that from our history. We don't want to erase that from our current situation in regards to the football ground. We don't want any suited and booted guys going there with red faces, going there, drinking their wine, in their little corporate boxes. We want an intimidating stadium, something on the lines of Borussia Dortmund. Maybe we can have a red wall, not a yellow wall. Maybe we can have a red wall, something like that. A huge flag, A huge flag, obviously, but like the Stretford end, even bigger, and we can pass that around the stadium. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see in regards to us. And I want to see something that represents our football club, of course, and makes us a new force, a force to be reckoned with. You're not just a new, shiny new toy stadium like the Emirates Stadium. I don't want anything like that. The Emirates Stadium. I don't want anything like that. I want a football stadium that represents who we are. I used to work for guilds in Manchester that provided staff for executive boxing, etc. And the day tripping execs were proper annoying consumer rather than participants. That's what they are, mate. That's what they are. And do you know what? It's like the Piers Morgans of the Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? They claim to be Manchester United fans, but they're not. When I had a season ticket, I used to go to a lot of games, and I used to basically have people coming up to me asking for tickets. I used to have corporate people coming up to me. Have you got ticket for the Liverpool game? When you have a season ticket, you can get tickets, of course. And you know what? I never used to give it to them. I used to say, look, you know what? If I'm going to buy extra tickets, I'm going to get it for the fans that want the tickets. And I'm not going to sell it for them for a ridiculous amount, extortionate amount of money. Because this is what these corporate people do. You will get them tickets. You will buy them tickets. You'll get them tickets with your season ticket. You're allowed 6. When I was a season ticket holder, we were allowed 6, even for the Arsenal game, the Liverpool game, obviously bearing in mind, obviously on demand. But you can ring up Old Trafford and you can ring up the hotline and you can get about 6 tickets for the game. So what used to happen is that corporate people used to come up to me, can I get some tickets for the game? Free tickets for the game. Can you ring them up and get me them? I pay you for the money. I pay you £60 for the tickets. You know what I mean? And then they'll pay me the face value and then they'll sell the tickets on, right? The reason I know this is because when I went to Old Trafford, I used to sell the tickets and I sat next to one of the people who bought one of the tickets, right? They bought the ticket for £175. I think the game was against, at the time, Aston Villa, I believe it was. And they bought the ticket for £175. And I said, I bought that ticket for £65, mate. And this is what I mean about corporate people. They're all more interested in money and over pricing fans out of the stadiums, etc. And this is what I'm saying about the government and taking away the independence from football clubs. And this is what this show's all about at the end of the day. It's about keeping our roots, about sticking to what we are at the end of the day, if I'm being honest. A retractable roof would be nice. Yeah, probably. Yeah, that would be nice. We do need a retractable roof, if we're being honest. But I do like the rain of Old Trafford. There was a game. When I think about rain of Old Trafford, what's the game that you think about the most? My game is Middlesbrough versus Manchester United in 1997-98 season, 3-3. Do you remember that game? Pouring down with rain. Real Madrid have a different culture to us. They are about having the best, etc. Links to government. We are about community and Pertaloo, Munich, etc. It's hard to compare. Absolutely, bath time. Very, very well spot on. And way bath time is speaking, this is how every single Manchester United should think at the end of the day. They should think like this because our heritage is different to other football clubs, right? This is why we're so a big advocate of our history. Where we came from, the Busby Babes, the Munich disaster, Old Trafford being bombed during the war, us having to go to play at Main Road, for goodness sake. God forbid. Do you know what I mean? Main Road is the old Manchester City stadium, of course. We have a history at Old Trafford. George Best, Bobby Charlton, you know what I mean? But some at Busby, Duncan Edwards. These legends, Eric Cantona, all the way up to Eric Cantona, all the way, you know, at the end of the day, all the way up Beckham and Scholes and Ronaldo, all the way up Paul McGrath, Brian Robson, all Old Trafford, all Old Trafford. George Best, you know, it's just an incredible landmark that, you know what, moving away from it is bad enough. But if we turn it into a commercialized cauldron, you know, an ashtray, so to speak, I wouldn't be happy with that. I want it to represent who we are. You know what I mean? Who we really are. Represent it. Everything about that stadium has to be about our history. Everything about that stadium, from the seating to the pitch to the. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever been to Old Trafford. You've got the little hill on the side where the throw-in is, so it's a bit dangerous. You can fall off and fall into a brick wall, right? Basically, when you're at Old Trafford. So we have that hill. Sorry, guys, I cut off again, guys. Yeah, sorry. Hopefully, I'm clear for you guys. Sorry, I cut off a little bit, but guys, sorry about that. Big up, everyone. Our beautiful stadium that we can be proud of. We need to play good, attractive football. We need our stadium to be obviously the most important thing, of course, is the attractive football and winning football matches. That is that's our bread and butter, of course. But we do need a stadium that is intimidating, both on the pitch and off the pitch, in regards to our heritage. You know, we want it to be an experience, because I really, really am a fan of our history. I fell in love with this football club because of our history, right? I fell in love with it. And I want people to go to Old Trafford, and I want people to learn about our history. I want it to be in their face. I want it to be in their face on who we are. That's what I want. So people can learn as they go along. Not those prawn sandwiches lot, not tourists lot. If the tourists come to Old Trafford, I want them to learn about our history. When they go into Old Trafford, I want them to see our history. I want them to see it, who we are, because that is so important, very important. A lot of people forget about this, who we are, forget about that, and that's sad. Brian, have safe standing behind the goals would be good. Absolutely, create the atmosphere, of course, like a red wall. I would call it a red wall at Old Trafford. That'd be absolutely incredible, like Borussia Dortmund. How much at home is a home ticket? Depends if you get it face value or you get it second hand, mate. A face value ticket can be from £36 all the way up to about £65 around that price, guys. Last time I checked. So you can go to a match quite cheap. It's quite cheap to go to if you can get a face value ticket. Good luck with that. It's about £40 to £60, £70, basically. So good luck with that if you get one. You could get a face value ticket if you go to the Europa League games, FA Cup games, League Cup games, Premier League games, Champions League games. A bit more tricky to get tickets for. You have to join the membership, of course, unless you want to buy it on the black market, of course. But having a season ticket is ideal. You know, if you get a season ticket, I waited 8 years for my season ticket. I managed to get one, luckily. And you know what? It was brilliant. You know, it was brilliant having one, because you got the power. At the end of the day, big up. We need to have an attractive stadium and play attractive football that goes with the stadium, not atrocious football. Yeah, our stadiums means everything, mate. It's, you know what? It's like basically being married for 80 years, right? It's like being married for 80 years. You look at your wife. She doesn't have the same skin as she used to have. She doesn't have the same body as she used to have. But you still love her, don't you? You still love her, because at the end of the day, her eyes haven't changed. She's still the same person. And that's how I feel about Old Trafford, guys. This is my feeling about Old Trafford. No matter how old it gets, no matter how much it's crumbling away, no matter how much it's leaking, Old Trafford will always be here in the heart at the end of the day. That is how I see Old Trafford. You know, and if you see Old Trafford like that, our history, the memories that we've made. I was a kid when I first visited Old Trafford. I was a child with my curtains, you know what I mean, going all the way down to my cheekbones, visiting Old Trafford. I want a picture with a Munich clock. I want a picture with a Munich clock. I had my first picture with a Munich clock when I was a kid. I didn't even reach double figures of age, you know. And this is the most important thing that I'm talking about. It's our heritage. I get shivers down my spine. You know what I mean? When I think about Old Trafford, still to this day, I've been there. I've been there for magnificent games. I've been there for riots. I've been there, everything there's been, I've seen it. I've been to a game against Roma where there are riots. You know, I've been to a place where we've shown love to each other. You know what I mean? And we've been there like a family. That is Old Trafford for me. It's a family stadium, you know, and it's not easy just to knock it down and say, let's go to a brand new, shiny new stadium. It's going to be fantastic. Let's go, guys. Like the Yanks do. We're not like that. Do you know what I mean? Our football heritage means a lot at the end of the day, guys. I'd argue even Michael Neaton is part of the Old Trafford history. Absolutely. Absolutely. Every single person who was involved in Old Trafford over the last 100-odd years that we've been in existence, 1889, basically, we have a huge part to play for every single person that played a part in our football club. At the end of the day, our football club is a cultural heritage. Our football club puts a lot of money into the economy already in Great Britain. If Manchester United left Old Trafford, if Manchester United were extinct, it would harm the UK economy. That's how big we are. We are bigger than the Premier League. We're bigger than all those football teams that you see in the Premier League right now who are bigging themselves up. We gave the Premier League a platform to have this sort of investment, to have this sort of popularity in regards to world football, in the viewers, etc. It was Manchester United who built that. Let's not forget that. Story. I can see for me going to matches will be Red Devil coming down from the roof of a line with the ball. Loud noises, smoke, and everyone standing, singing, take me home. No, it's nothing. Oh, goodness me. We'll have a blimp. And we have a guy, coming out of the sky doing some backflips and stuff like that and doing a dance. And we'll have the cheerleaders on the pitch like Crystal Palace. Do you know what I mean? The cheerleaders on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And then we'll have Diana Ross coming out singing Take Me Home. For goodness sake, can you imagine? We'll have Diana Ross coming out of the stadium, Take Me Home, United. Oh, my God. God forbid. God forbid. Can you imagine? Big up. The history is what connects the fans of the present and future. It's the social fabric of being a United fan, and Old Trafford is where it happens. We lose that we so much by moving. Absolutely. And your history, you know what? People say, stop talking history. People say to me, stop talking about the past. The past is what makes you who you are. You know what I mean? The past is who we are. Without the past, we would not be who we are. I call it a present fact. A present fact is because of our past, Manchester United are who we are because of our past. That is a present fact. You know what I mean? It's like when they talk about the trophies that we've won. When we won the European Cup in 1968, that is a present fact. We did win the European Cup in 1968. We were pioneers of English football. We were the first English club to believe in European competition in England. You know, so we are the pioneers. So our past is everything. Our heritage is everything. Old Trafford is everything. And it's going to be extremely, extremely sad and disappointing when we do move away from Old Trafford. And that is looking like that at the moment. Hayden. We need more space, please, scene. I agree, Hayden. Sitting next to XL Bully, I do not want to. You're trying to enjoy the game. Hayden, join the club. When I was sitting in the Stretford end with my season ticket, I sat next to a guy, right? He was miserable. Every time I tried to stand up and sing, he would say, sit down, sit down. I said, I'm here to enjoy the game. I'm here to sing. You should be singing. You should be singing songs. This is Man United. You're taking a ticket. You should be singing a song. He's sitting there, big, huge like this, grey hair. Oh, you stop singing songs. You don't sing it properly. You're not singing songs. It was like that. And I wanted to move from my seat, but obviously I couldn't, you know. And it was a headache. I know what you mean. We do need more spaces in regards to that, but that could be done at Old Trafford, you know. I know the Cockney Red that goes home and away and breeds and excel bullies. That's so true. Yeah, I'm a Cockney Red, by the way, bath time. Yeah, I am from East London, unfortunately. Leytonstone like David Beckham. David Beckham, obviously. Without David Beckham, no trouble. Big up David Beckham. Big up Hayden. Big up Hayden, of course. Sal calls the riots. Sal calls. No, I did not. I had my chips in my hand. I just come out of the mega store. I had a portion of chips in my hand, eating my lovely chips with tomato ketchup. Those chips cost a fortune, right? And that, you know, if you go to Old Trafford, you know, near the Trinity stand, there's a little van there where you buy your fish and chips, right? I bought my fish and chips from there. It cost me a flipping fortune. I was standing outside the mega store. A Roma fan ran out of that mega store and went like this on my shoulder here. So my chips went flying everywhere. I was devastated, more upset about my chips than my shoulder. But then I grabbed the guy on the shoulder here like that, and he slipped because it was slippery. He slipped. He fell on the floor. Police pushed me away. Blah blah blah, like that, and we won the game 7-1. Now, if you're gonna do that, make sure you got the talking on the pitch, because when De Rossi scored for Roma in that match, we were cheering for Roma because it was 7-1. We were laughing at them. It was at that time, it was 6-1, I think, and we were laughing at them. You know what? If you're going to be a big bully, make sure you back it up on the pitch, because it's goddamn embarrassing, in my opinion. Goodness me. Let's speak about the game tomorrow night. What is your lineup? I've got my lineup here, guys. I want to know what you think about it. If you could be as kind to check it out. I gave it yesterday, but I'm going to give you it right now, guys. This will be my lineup for tomorrow. If you guys can have a look, I would rest a few players. I'm playing Evans and Maguire because I do believe that they need some fitness. I'm playing Anthony on the right because I believe he needs some match fitness as well. This team here should be good enough to defeat FC20, in my opinion, even more than 3-0, I believe. This is the team that I would pick for tomorrow night. What do you guys think of that team? I would play the double pivot with Mount as number 10. I would rest Bruno. I think Bruno does need some rest, and this is the team that I would play, guys. What are your thoughts on this team, my friends? What do you think about it? Hope you like it. In regards to FC20, this is the team for FC20. We have to be careful of Stein as the number 10. He's a very, very dangerous player. So they won 5-0 at the weekend against Almere. Lammers up front is a very good player as well. Salah Eddin used to play for Ajax, so we have to be careful and be very wary of the wing backs because they do like to attack from the wing back position. They do play 4 at the back. Of course, they're not defensive. They are an attacking side, so we have to be careful and we have to be wary of their threat. They're a very confident side, of course, guys. So we have to be wary of who they are. Of course, manager is just Joseph Oosting. And of course, the legendary manager of FC20 is Steve McLaren, who won the league with FC20 in 2009, 2010, of course. So, yeah, little bit of history lesson about FC20 for you guys. What do you think about that? What do you think about my lineup? Let me know. I would rest a few players. I would bring in some players who are not entirely fit. I know Harry Amas is a bit of a stretch. I know that I picked Harry Amas. But you know what? I want to see Harry Amas given a chance because I believe that we need a left back in there, guys. I really do believe that we need a left back in there urgently. And if we play Harry Amas, even if we played Harry Amas for 20 minutes, it would be great. Do you know what I mean? It would be nice. Do you know what I mean? You great people, of course. Yeah, it was 7-1, Kazi. Yeah, it was. I mean, Rossi scored when it was 6-1. Let me have a look at this, guys. Sal calls the right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, just giving that funny advice. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, mate. Good to see you back, my friend. Good to see you. Are you planning to grow this channel into something like United Stand? You know what? At the end of the day, I'm just whatever happens to this channel. But one thing I want to do is keep it in this community and the people that are here originally to support me, like you guys. And I want to keep it with the fans. And I want you guys to have a big part to play in this channel. This channel may grow, it may not grow, it may stay as it is at the end of the day. But one thing's for certain, I am all for Man United. I'm Man United. I love Mark Goldbridge, United Stand. I think they're fantastic people who do that. I've known Mark Goldbridge for 7 years. He's a great person. And at the end of the day, look, you know, he's met my wife, everything. You know what I mean? So when we went to the football trials, and at the end of the day, I wish them nothing but the best. I don't think I'm ever going to get as big as United Stand. That is a big ask at the end of the day. But you know what? If this channel grows into a community of real Manchester United fans, you know what? All beautiful for it. Because I want to do things for the community as well, for Manchester. You know what? Because Manchester's a fantastic place. I love Manchester. It's my second home. Third home, Abu Dhabi is my first home at the moment. It's where I live in. Second home is obviously London, and then third home is Manchester. But Manchester really is my home, of course. United Road. Big up. What are your pre-game routine, Sal? Did you go to the same pub, etc., before kickoff? My pre-game routine was this. I used to arrive in Manchester Piccadilly at least 2 to 3 hours before the game. I used to get the tram to Old Trafford, of course. Was it the tram to Ecclesleigh, Altrincham? Old Trafford. I used to get the tram to Old Trafford. Sing a little sing-along when I got off Old Trafford, of course. Sing a little sing-along. But before I did that, before I'd done all that, I got myself a Costa coffee from the town centre in Manchester. Some may know it. Some may have been there. Got myself a Costa coffee, go to the tram, go to Old Trafford, get off, and walk to the stadium. Yeah? And then I would sing my heart out all the way through. I would always pick up a programme before the game. Sometimes I pick up some chips, fish and chips, £20 fish and chips, by the way. Pick up that. And I'm one of those guys who used to walk around the stadium, you know, walk around, walk back, walk round. I was alone at the end of the day, little loner, you know what I mean? I didn't have no one else had a season ticket apart from me at the end of the day. Sometimes my brother would come and I would manage to get him a ticket and stuff. And yeah, I would do that. And then I would sit in the football, and then I'll sit in my seat at least an hour before the game when the turnstiles open, of course. Now, the turnstile I used to go in was incredibly thin. Yeah, so it's near the Munich clock, you know, and basically... yeah, it was incredibly thin sometimes, you know what I mean, when I used to go through that stand. And Yeah, and yeah, some of it needs to expand, you know what I mean? Especially if you're a little bit of the heavy side. I'm not, but you know what I mean? Some people are. Wembley, old Wembley was the worst thing. Old Wembley was the worst thing. Absolutely, old Wembley was tight as anything. Tight. I used to look at the old Wembley when I used to go to the old Wembley, a couple of FA Cup finals I went to, and it used to be tight like that, really tight. My goodness me. Goodness me. Yeah, but that was generally my routine. I'll get up, I'll go to London, Euston at the time, get the train to Manchester. I used to love it. Oh, I used to love it. I had so many experiences going up to Manchester. Those guys who sit next to the seat guys who sit next to the bench, they've been on the train with me before. I've had a chat with them. I've sat next to great people, you know what I mean, in regards to going up to Manchester, going to see the game. Brilliant times, man. Brilliant times. So, hopefully I can go again this year. Got 7-1. Yeah, it was 7-1. Yeah. De Rossi scored with 6-1. I think it was 6-1 when De Rossi scored, or was it 5-1 or 6-1 De Rossi scored? And we won the game 7-1, of course. One of the best games I've ever been to. And the only time I actually got a hotel after the game, after a European game, because they're generally sold out. The problem with going to European games and Champions League games is basically the hotels are always sold out or they're extremely expensive. So the tickets will become available very, very late because the draw will be made, especially for the quarterfinal and the semi-final. And then obviously the train companies, at that time it was Virgin Trains, but obviously they've changed the company since then. The train companies would raise their prices right through the roof. So you end up paying ridiculous amount of money to go to the game in the first place. And what I used to do after the Champions League games, hear this one, right? I used to walk every time. I would never used to get the train after the European games. In the dark, I would walk from Manchester Old Trafford all the way back to Manchester Piccadilly, right? I would grab myself a coffee from the cafe right next to Manchester Piccadilly station. If you know, you know. And then I would sit in a freezing cold Manchester Piccadilly station till about 1 o'clock in the morning, right? At 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll get a train all the way down to, I think it was Sheffield. And then I will get on the Sheffield train to Nottingham. Then I'll get on a Nottingham train to London. I'll go home, quickly have a shower, and go to work. Just imagine, guys, the dedication that had to be involved in that is crazy. Dedication, guys. And the European Games is another story. Going abroad is another story completely. It's another story. Go to London Victoria at night, get an overnight coach to Manchester, meet the Manchester United fans at Manchester Airport, get the plane to the destination that you're going to. Someone takes you from the destination you're going to the town centre. Go to the game in the town centre. Watch the game, fly back afterwards during the night. Oh my goodness me. Madness. Since then, Sal, you've been I've never had a chip on my shoulder, Brian. Never, ever had a chip on my shoulder. Absolutely not. I've always been a lovely, positive guy. You guys will concur, of course. We need to move forward in our history just a little. It was forever, so we need to be pastures. 13 years of heartbreak. We need something to change. Maybe this is our change. Let's forward. It could work either way, David. I understand what you mean, but it can work either way. It might work worse, you know, because Old Trafford is obviously different, of course, guys. Story. I thank you, one for the guards starting the songs. One of the guards starting songs. I got a thank you from one of the guards starting the song. Big up, start. What, in the ground or on the way to the ground? You know, when we got off of the ground, you pick up your scarf and then you go to the ground. I used to love it. And then you see Old Trafford in the distance. I got to go back this year. We need to consistency. Our players don't. Yeah, our players don't. Absolutely. Brian Fogg, chip on your shoulder. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a big chip on my shoulder. We're not winning trophies. So I definitely am a miserable git at the moment. Amas will not play. Probably not. But it's just, I'm being hopeful, of course, Hayden. Their keeper's name is pronounced uninstall. Yeah, he's pronounced uninstall. And the manager's, the substitutes is called hard drive. And the formation is hard drive. Hard drive with uninstall. Do you know what I mean? I was trying to think of a pun there. I was trying to think of a joke bath time. I was trying to think of a joke. Uninstall. Definitely. The right winger, you got to be careful. Hewlett Packard. He's really good on the right wing. Goodness me. And Dell on the left. Brilliant. Changing our squad is not going to have any players knowing each other play. We need consistency. Absolutely. We got to get consistency with that team. We got to start picking our best team, of course, guys. We got to know our best team, of course. Absolutely. Anthony is to play and to get sharpness. I'd like to see Wheatley get an hour, even though I know it's not going to happen. Absolutely, Hayden. It's exactly the same with you and me because I wanted Ari Amas to get some minutes. I also want Wheatley to get some minutes as well. I think that Wheatley needs some minutes, but we're at a time when obviously Rasmus needs minutes as well, isn't it? So if Wheatley can get 20 minutes at the end, half an hour, that would be good, isn't it? That would be good. If we're winning the game comfortably, that would be good as well. Yeah, I would like to see Wheatley. My guy, Sal, for those journeys. Big ups, big up, Fanatic. Hey, I've had a lot of journeys, you name it, ever since I was a kid going to see Honved. Do you know what I mean? I've done a lot, my guys, my peeps. Absolutely, absolutely. I've dedicated myself to United. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm a bit touchy in regards to some fan camps who claim to be Man United fans who are actually not. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? Fair play to them. They're making their corn, but you know what? There's some of them who are not, you know, and you know who they are at the end of the day. And I don't need to tell you. And because I've worked hard supporting my football club, I have. I mean, obviously, I've moved to the Middle East now. Obviously, for family reasons, I've moved to the Middle East. So at the end of the day, I find it harder to get to Old Trafford, but I spent 40 years of my life doing it. You know what I mean? And I've got grey hairs to prove it as well, guys. Grey hairs to prove it. I've literally slept on the bloody street supporting my football club. Sleeping in Piccadilly, Manchester Piccadilly Station after a European game, guys. You know what I mean? Next level, man. Next level. And no social media involved. We start playing the same style every game, irrespective of who we're playing. Change the players, not the system. Absolutely. We need to keep a consistency. Absolutely agree with that, David. Absolutely. Big up, everyone. Big up, of course. Name names, Sal. Name names. You know the names, guys. You know the names who I'm talking about who are not you. I don't want to upset a few people because some of them I actually get along with. Do you know what I mean? But that's it. But you know the rest. I mean, I can give you names of people who are not Man United fans, 100%. You know, and you know, I just don't want to. Obviously, in this game, you're going to get blackballers. And blackballers basically means that if you start mentioning names, they're going to blackball you from certain quarters that you would otherwise get because they'll say that don't support him. Do you know what I mean? It happens in the music industry a lot. But I'm going to do a membership video this week, right? Guys, make sure you tune into the membership video. I'm going to do a membership video this week, and I'm going to name names, and I'm going to tell you about every single one of them if I think they're a Man United fan, right? If I think they're a Man United fan or not. Now, I can prove I'm a Man United fan. I can go to you and show pictures from 1989 of me in the Man United jersey. Do you know what I mean? And at Old Trafford. I can do that. Do you know what I mean? I've got many pictures in London. I've got pictures with everyone. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, all this sort of club. But I'm going to do a membership video. I know it's going to be controversial. I don't like being too controversial, but I also like being truthful. So I like being real with you guys. I'm going to do a video sometime this week. Keep an eye out for it on the membership about it. And now I'll name names. I'm going South African Indian. I've got a tattoo on my arms. Big up South African Indian. Big up the South African Indians, by the way. Big up the African Indians all the way. Kenyan Indians. All Indians around the world, of course. Big up yourself. Hard workers. And, of course, Pakistanis and Bangladeshis and Afghanistanis. All very hardworking people. Of course, very hardworking people. Big up you lot. Hope you are good, guys. Guys, it's been a fantastic show. It's flown by. Absolutely loved it. Please don't forget to subscribe and smash a like on the video, guys. Really means a lot that you're joining me today. Hopefully you can join me for Chatterbox later on. Got some more news for you. Got some breaking news for you guys. So don't forget to join it, please. Support the channel if you can by subscribing if you haven't already. I've got 75 people. I should get a few subscribers, guys. I'm literally 90 away from 4,000 subscribers, guys. So let's push the subscribers up. If you could kindly do that for me, I really appreciate it, guys. Absolutely. Cool people like AFTC Real United fans because it's they think about it 24/7. Yeah, look, those people are real. Look, I'm going to tell you who's a real Man United fan, and you're going to be shocked. Some of those people at AFC TV are. A lot of them are, right? And I know that for a fact. Mark Goldbridge is a real United fan. I know that for a fact, right? And people say he's not. It's the others that are not. And a lot of these people got season tickets from Man United because of them. Right? They got them season tickets. So they use that as I'm a season ticket holder. I'm a real Man United fan. I'll go home and away. They go home and away because it's profitable for them. Because they could do fan cams after the game in front of the stadium and give it the self-righteousness and claim, oh, I've gone viral. Do you know what I mean? And they all know they are. They're all cowards at the end. In my opinion, that is what it is. But membership video, I will give my lowdown on that. Absolutely. We need to try and win the Europa League and start campaign fast. Not slow, but try not to come too fast because that's what she said. uh, fast, because we need to avoid injuries because the fans will be dissatisfied with the performance. You know what? I think we will win the game quite comfortably Wednesday tomorrow. I think we will win the game quite comfortably, guys. Absolutely. And British Bangladeshi. Work big up the British Bangladeshis, guys. Absolutely. Whitechapel in the massive in the house. Used to work down there, down Brick Lane. I used to work down there. Used to work in a power station. Good old Sal. Absolutely. Just in Brick Lane. Of course, the Bangladeshi community is rife there, of course. And I also used to work down Leadenhall Street, just down the road. It's a company called Chubb Insurance. And I used to work there when it used to be called Ace. And it's just down the road from where you live in Aldgate. It's down the road, guys. Absolutely. Big up the Aldgate, the Whitechapel, the East London, massive. East London's where I'm from, guys. At the end of the day, big up everyone, of course, guys, for joining me today. Absolute major love for you. So I'll be live for Chatterbox later on, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and smash a like on the way out. It's very important for the stream, guys. Thank you so much. You absolute diamonds, you absolute legends. Look forward to seeing you later. Take it easy. Peace.